the most. Let's go.
Fucking tight ass pants. Yo, I feel like a fat ass right now. Today, we are talking with Ronnie from Full Force.
You know it. Full Force.
What's up, Ronnie?
What's up, dude?
How you feeling?
Good.
Yeah?
Yes.
How was your day today?
Great, man. Chilled with the family. Going house hunting, you know, trying to look for a new spot to live in with my family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good day.
What is your first breaking memory?
Official breaking memory? This was probably when I was still living in Guam. It was my, I think, second or third grade, I feel like it was like a Christmas performance or something, and I was trying to do coffee grinders.
Ooh. How old
So this
were
is
you?
still in the 80s, man. This is like late
in the 80s.
And I didn't know what breaking was at all.
Okay.
But that was just my first experience trying to do something that was, you know, considered breaking. And during the 80s, we already saw like the old school breaking movies, you know what I'm saying? Like Breakin' 1 and 2. I already saw Beat Street, but it wasn't until we migrated to the mainland when we actually started taking it serious and we actually started understanding the culture and the dance. So I would say it was probably like a late 80s that I first got introduced to breaking.
Late 80s.
Yeah, man.
How? What year were you born?
82.
82. So we're the same
I was
age.
still in elementary school. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're born in 82, and 88 is when you started doing the coffee grinders?
Probably, yeah. I would like to say it was like 88, 89, somewhere around
Right.
there.
Like 6, 7 years old?
Yeah, because I was only like in second or third grade.
Okay. And what influenced you to do that?
Watching the movies,
Watching
watching
the movies.
freaking Breakin',
Okay.
watching Beat Street.
Who showed you them?
It was already popular in Guam, man. Like all
Okay.
these movies, because I remember even watching MTV so much that, you know, all the major music videos, it probably came out later in Guam, but I remember watching like all the behind the scenes of all the old school Michael Jackson music videos that came out, like Black and White, you know, Crisscross, TLC. Like that was our generation before we ended up moving to the mainland, and that was the music we were already listening to back in Guam. So I felt like we got introduced to, you know, I guess mainstream hip hop at a young age. Yeah,
You were born in Guam.
born in Guam,
Okay.
1982. We're the same age.
Okay. Are you a military child?
No.
Okay.
No.
Most people in Guam are.
Yeah. No, the reason why is because my family's from the Philippines, and Guam is like a 3-hour flight from the Philippines. So it was the closest U.S. territory from the Philippines. So when my family moved to Guam, you know, we got USA citizenship. We got petitioned to be Americans.
Dope. All right. So you're in Guam. You're 6, 7 years old doing coffee grinders.
Yeah.
What happens next?
Nothing. I mean, it was just, we never took it serious, you know.
Okay.
We would always try to dance. I just remember me and my older brother, we would always perform. I felt that we always loved dancing, but we never knew what we were doing. And it wasn't until 92 when we migrated to the mainland where we got introduced to it even more. We moved to Southern Cali. I have family in California that lived in Fontana, West Covina, La Puente Hills, Walnut. And majority of our cousins were breaking, and this was in the early 90s. So I felt that that's when they kind of introduced us to the culture behind breaking, like battling in garages and competing. So I thought that around that time is when I really started getting into it.
You're about like 10 years old.
Around 10, yeah. So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is like late 92. I would say,
Oh, okay,
'cause when
92.
people ask when I started, I say 93.
Okay.
Because I feel that in 93 is when I woke up and I was like, all right, this is breaking. This is what I want to do.
And when you moved out here and you saw your family, was it an instant thing, or did it take some time for you to find it?
No, I think I fell in love with it right away. Because
Right
when
away.
you're young, you know, and I mean, my mentality, like I was young, fearless. I would try any move, anything I would see. I would try to emulate anything my cousins were doing, anything my older brother was doing. And yeah, so since 93, I felt like that was my real introduction to breaking, you know?
Yeah.
I was kind of, I guess I saw it. You know how everyone says like, yeah, I used to do that when I was young, but they never really did it because they never really knew what they were doing. So 93 is when I understood what I was doing.
Whoa, dope. And did you and your cousins have a crew, nicknames? Did you guys throw any of those ideas around, or was it just freestyling?
Well, okay, so in 92, my cousins, they were representing a crew called Imagination.
Okay.
And this is way back. I mean, it obviously wasn't a crew that was really known, but they were actually the original Full Force guys. So they started Full Force in California when I moved to Vegas. So I moved to Vegas because I lived in Cali for only like a year and a half. And then when I moved to Vegas, they were repping Full Force in Southern Cali. And, you know, we asked permission if we could start a Vegas chapter. And we started the Vegas chapter here in Vegas in 95 with myself, my older brother, and Rock, who still gets
fresh.
down. Yeah, so
Okay.
we were the 3 OG Full Force members in '95, and shortly after that, we started. Pretty much around the same time, we recruited certain members that we still see today. So
Yeah.
we've been a family for like 26 years, man. That's like a quarter of a century.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
A lot of history.
We're gonna slow this shit down a little bit more.
Is it too fast right now?
Yeah. So you moved away from California. You moved over to Vegas. Rock and them, they're not your blood family. How did you find them out here?
So Rock lived. Okay, so right now we're in East Las Vegas, like downtown area, and some of the OG Full Force members was from this side of town.
Okay.
So when we first moved here to Vegas, we moved to 9th Street, and I believe Rock lived on 14th Street. So we all kind of grew up breaking because of school. Rock went to the same high school as me and my brother.
Okay.
My brother was a senior, Rock was a junior, and I was a freshman.
Okay.
But even before Valley, my brother already met Rock because they were like best friends, and I was still in middle school. And we used to do like high school assemblies together, So we were always performing. We were always getting down. We were always practicing at each other's houses. And that was the introduction with Rock. So we met Rock right when we moved to Vegas.
Okay.
And then some of the other members, just got down because my brother lived in Nellis Air Force Base. My other older half brother lived in the Air Force Base, and we met some of the other Full Force members out there. So this is like north side of town,
Okay, but they weren't connected to Rock and the high school. They were just
No.
another-
Actually, yeah, they were there. I have a crazy ass like just our upbringing. Me and my siblings were all separated. So when I moved to California, I was living with my cousin. My older brother was living out here in Vegas already. So even though I was in Southern California, I was always commuting back and forth from LA or from Cali to Vegas. And this is around the time when I started really breaking. And then my younger brother and my younger sister were still living in Guam.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't until 94 when we all moved to this house here on 9th Street.
Oh, fresh.
Yeah, so for like 2 years, me and my siblings were all separated.
Fresh. Oh,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's not
for a
fresh,
while.
but that's fresh.
Yeah, it's fresh that we all came
How it
together
turned out.
finally, here on 9th Street. So that's when we created Full Force in 1995. We
Fresh.
started with Rock, and then some of the guys that we knew from Nellis Air Force Base, who are still our friends today, got down with Full Force. And then we met Jamar, who's also one of the OGs. He was from Hawaii. He ended up moving out here to Vegas and became one of the illest power heads, and that's when our conflict with Rocks, because at that time Skittle, that was like the crew out here. They were like the main crew, and
So
when
they were
Full
already
Force,
popping prior to you guys.
yeah, man, because they were older too. You know what I'm saying? And we were like this new crew. Majority of us were Filipino, and we were kind of newbies, but we wanted to battle, man. So in '95, like the first competition we traveled to was in Seattle, because we heard about this crew called Boss Crew, and they were the Breakers of South Seattle, which is pretty much like some of the OG Massive Monkeys.
So all right. So this is your first event traveling, or this is your first event?
Traveling. No.
Okay,
No,
this
no.
is
Our
your
first event was as Full Force. We battled Rock Skittle. So that was like November of 1995.
Okay.
Which there's footage of. Like if you look up Full Force versus Rock Skittles, it's like one of those outdated VHS videos, and we're battling for like over an hour. But that was in 95.
In 95.
95, yeah.
And is that the first time you guys came together as Full Force?
Yeah.
So that was the same year
something
you
that
guys-
was actually documented. Something
Okay,
that I
dope.
can say like, yeah, this is a battle that went down in 95 as Full Force. We were, because this is our color. I'm actually rocking our colors right now. It was like green was our Full Force color. So if you ever saw like a little Asian kid wearing like white and green, you kind of knew that, okay, they're from Full Force crew,
Dope. All right, 95 comes around, and you guys go to Seattle.
Seattle, man.
Okay.
Yeah. It was wintertime, Seattle. Actually, Birmingham, which is kind of like next to Seattle. We took like a ferry to the event was in Seattle, but we were staying in Birmingham, and we got second place battling the crew that we were kind of targeting.
How did you guys get out there?
Dude, we had our parents buy our tickets.
What? You guys flew?
Yeah, we flew out
Okay,
there. Yeah,
okay. Did you guys
'cause
have
at that time we stayed with one of our crew members had a cousin that lived out there, and they had there was 7 of us that went out there. So yeah, we all just stayed in their house. And that was our mission, man. When you're young, you're just hungry. You just want to get your name out there. And we really looked up to like Rocksteady crew. We looked up to, all these OG crews, Style Elements at that time, Renegades crew. So we wanted to get our name out there. And how you do that? You end up battling crews that you respect, right?
So Ronnie's your real name.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a b-boy name, or has it always been your name?
Dude, I had the wackest b-boy name.
What was it?
One of my first b-boy names, this was like in 7th grade. I went by Kid Pride.
Kid Pride.
Yeah, it was so bad, man. Dido, I don't even know why. I just used to, you know, try to draw characters. I used to tag Dido and draw that character, that stick figure Dido, you know what I'm talking about? And in high school, everyone used to call me Rontron, you know, because the Full Force style, we always used to transform our freezes. And then as of, not recently, but like the past 10 years, and when we did the TV show, America's Best Dance Crew, they started calling me Ronnie Boy. So yeah, I guess you would say that as of now, you know, an alias of my name is Ronnie Boy, but I just go by Ronnie, B-Boy Ronnie.
So you guys, that's fresh. It's weird how I see people like Omar, people using their real names in breaking, and it's like, wow, how come they never had a nickname, you know? So
yeah, we've had nicknames, it just never stuck. That's what it was. I just never committed to a nickname.
Dope. All right, so 95, you guys go to Seattle. This is the end of 95. You guys go to Seattle. 96 comes around. Anything special happens in 96?
Yeah, man. So around that era when we were trying to battle, we ended up meeting B-Boy Ivan.
Okay.
You know,
how did you guys meet Ivan?
We met him through Rock Skittles because we knew some of the guys in Rock Skittles, and they were already, you know, familiar with all the people that were killing it in the scene, which we didn't know because we were younger. So they introduced us to Ivan. Ivan was coming around, and he was coming to practice here on 9th Street where we grew up. This is like our Full Force headquarters, closer to downtown Las Vegas. And he told us about an event called Radiotron. So we're like, all right, we're down to go. And at that time, we were younger, you know. So my older half-brother, who I told you was in the military, volunteered to drive us. So we drove out to Radiotron in 96. I think it was summertime. And we brought Ivan with us because he pretty much hitched the ride with us.
Right.
And then we got there, and, yo, that was the first time I saw Ivan live killing it. And I was like, yo, this fool rolled with us here to freaking Radiotron. And yeah, I mean, the rest is history, dude. This guy won the trophy and brought it home with us to Las Vegas. That same night, we were literally in and out. We drove in, went to Radiotron, and drove back home right after.
So when you guys saw Ivan out here prior to Radiotron, was he something special, or was he just the guy that just braked?
Oh man, yeah, he was definitely special. He always had a character. He always had that presence, right?
Yeah.
So I specifically remember we were younger, so you know we laid out the linoleum in the backyard at our old house when we were still in middle school. My brother was in high school, and back then we never used to stretch. We would just like, you know, just go straight into it, try to show people anyone that we would invite over. We were always trying to one up each other, right? You want to show your level and how skillful you are. And dude, for like half an hour, almost an hour, Ivan was just stretching. He was just stretching. And all of a sudden, he jumps on the wall and does like a backflip and starts going off like it's a freaking performance in our backyard.
Oh, that's dope.
I was like, yo, this guy's crazy. And yeah, man, he taught us a lot. I felt like he taught us a lot, just how to be more confident, because like I said, we were just like these young Asians coming up, young Filipinos. And he actually did a performance with us that same year in 96. There was a talent show at UNLV, and we asked him if he could do it with us, and he said yes. So he actually choreographed like a whole number for us.
Sick.
And yeah, I have all these tapes, man, like these little mini DV tapes, just like somewhere in my garage.
Yeah, it's crazy how I hear stories of him living out here, Mr. Wiggles, Freeze, and all the old school New York cats. Did that have any type of influence to you guys? Did you guys reach out to them in any way? Or
Nah, you know what's crazy, man? Like, these are some legends that lived in Vegas. The only person that really came around this was Ivan and some of Style Elements, because they were here for, you know, like Remind was here for a while, so he practiced with Full Force a few times, but never saw Wiggles, and didn't start seeing Freeze until after I turned 21, because he was, you know, kind of running one of the clubs at MGM. At MGM Grand, there was this little club called Taboo, and he used to throw b-boy events there. He threw UBC, which was an event that ended up becoming really big, but at that time, it was just a club event. So, yeah, Wiggles, Freeze, yeah, these two legends I never really saw. Like, it was
crazy
mainly
because still, people tell me that he still lives out here and nobody still sees him around.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's
and
wild.
He has yet to come to district, and you know, we've been around for like almost 9 years, and we've been wanting him to come out and teach, but he's just a hard person to get a hold of, and he travels a lot too, which I understand, you know.
Yeah. And you traveling to these events, did you have the support of your parents? Where were you guys getting the funds to make this happen? Like gas money,
man.
money.
We would just ask our parents, or I would save my freaking lunch money just for the opportunity to travel to California, you know. But I just remember around that time, that's all we did. All we did was break. Never partied, never went out on the weekends. Like if anyone that knows us that's from Vegas, and if they know me, Like that's all I would do, like on my leisure time. You know, even when we would go to Boulevard Mall, that was like our hot spot. We would take the cat bus to Boulevard Mall and just look around and say, is that dude a b-boy? Should we try to call him out? Should we battle him? That's really how it was in the 90s.
Yeah, it was.
But it was innocent, man. It was cool, but always saving money just to try to battle. So that was 96, 97. We went out to California and we battled Poe's crew.
Poe's crew, as in
do you remember Poe's crew? Yeah, in freaking a skating rink. It was a skating rink, and it was Full Force versus Poe's crew. Okay. And from what I remember, they had some of the illest powers I've seen live. They had one member that just, because at that time it wasn't even about like, what you could do, but how many of it you could do, right? Like if you had 3 flares, whoever did 5 flares was better.
Right.
And I just remember there was a member from Poe's crew, I forgot his name, and he just went off. And back then, we didn't really have style. Full Force crew was more of a power move crew,
I think most were.
Yeah, I mean we had full work, but it wasn't your traditional full work. It was one of those things where we just wanted like the hardest. Like if you had Flair 90s back then, you were already one of the illest in Vegas.
What battle was it that was a turning point for you? That was, I guess, elevated your career as an individual or as a crew. What was the one battle that was like, okay, this is the next level where you start getting recognition?
I would say specifically was Concrete Soul.
Concrete Soul.
So Concrete Soul was an event that happened here in Las Vegas that drew a lot of national attention. Because at that time in the 90s, everything I'm telling you right now was more underground. No one knew about these events, and no one knew that there was a crew in Vegas, So this was, and if they did know, they only knew Flow Rock, because Flow Rock was like, okay, he's that Vegas B-boy that's sponsored by Tribal, that's traveling the world. But in 2000, there's an event called Concrete Soul where a whole bunch of crews nationally came through. LA Breakers came through, Havoc Coral came through, West Coast Rockers came through, Full Force entered, Knucklehead Zoo entered. I'm pretty sure Rocks could have entered too. It was just a whole bunch of crews, recognizable crews that were in Vegas, and it happened right here on Charleston and Maryland Parkway at the Huntridge. Do you know where the Huntridge is?
The Huntridge,
they're turning it into a brewery right now, but this is an iconic theater. And then it happened in the back of the theater in a smaller venue called The Sanctuary. Okay. And it was organized by Quality from Sal Elements crew.
Oh, dope.
And you had some like legendary, Storm judge. Storm came all the way out from Europe. Wiggles was a judge. What? So it was a big event. It was a huge event. Yeah. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh my gosh. Look it up. Soul. I'm pretty sure it's online. Just type in Full Force versus Havoc Coral, because it was us in the finals and Full Force ended up winning.
What?
So that was a turning point. So after we won that in 2000, that's when we started getting invited to events. That's when, we ended up going to Alpha Fame. We ended up getting second place to Alpha Fame, and we got invited to the regional finals for Alpha Fame. I would say 2000 is the turning point.
Okay, who was the shot caller in the crew? Who was like trying to organize everything within the crew?
Oh, my older brother, man. Okay. My older brother was the man.
Yeah.
He was pretty much, founder and leader of the crew. Very organized. That's why we were able to travel. Let's rewind a year before 2000. In '99, we flew ourselves out to Hawaii because we wanted to battle Rocksteady Hawaii. Right. Rocksteady had a Hawaii chapter, so we have footage of us. And like I said, we had members, from all over Vegas, but one of our main guys was from Hawaii, so he already had a crew in Hawaii called UBC, Uncontrollable Breakers. So then, he made it so that if we went out there, we could collaborate with his crew because they knew everything that was going on, And then, all these people that I'm talking about, we're still friends today. So all those guys from Hawaii were still homies. Obviously, a lot of them stopped breaking. So we went out there in '99, and we were just trying to call out anyone we knew, man. It was pretty tight. We were going to these graduation parties because it was during summer. And when we would see, other B-boy crews, we'd battle them.
That's dope. And in 2000, when you guys did the Concrete Soul and you had the final battle with Havoc Coral, what was it? A 2-on-2? Was it a 3-on-3?
5-on-5.
It was a 5-on-5?
Yeah, so it was me, Jamar, our boy from Hawaii, Chris Stiles, Chris Stiles, dope. Rock, who still gets down. Chris and Rock still get down. And Wes Craven, he goes by Wes Craven. So that was our 5. And I believe their 5 was Marlon, Moy, Rudy Rex, Little John, and dang.
By then, they were already popping.
Those guys they're famous. Yeah, we already looked up to all of them. Moy at that time was one of the biggest B-boys in the U.S.
Yeah, he was.
And it was a controversial battle because we battled them in the prelims too. So we battled him in the prelims and then ended up battling him in the finals.
Oh, that's fresh.
Yeah, so it was dope. It was memorable. It was a staple in our Vegas breaking scene, you know, because Full Force, we were one of the first crews, I mean, besides Rock Skittle, to really come up, and then Knucklehead Zoo. And then after that, like I said, we started, you know, going to all the major jams, Freestyle Session, B-Boy Summit.
Did you guys ever have any beef with any other crews to where, like, it got into, like, maybe some fighting stuff?
Never a fight.
No, but close to it?
I would say... no, not really.
No.
I mean, not that I could remember. I just remember we would get into the Rock Skittles a lot. Like, we would see him at raves. We'd see him around. And it always kind of got heated. More on their side because, you know, they kind of toughened us up. Because for us, it was just all fun. We just wanted to battle, you know. But with them, like most B-boys, they take battling serious, you know. So I would say just between Rock Skittle and more down the road, like in the 2000s, Battleborn. But we're all homies now, you know. But back then, those were the crews that Full Force kind of had, you know, not beef with, but you know what I'm saying, just like healthy competition with.
Yeah. It's always good to have some type of healthy competition. It keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, man, it elevates you. Yeah, for sure.
Dope. What was the first one-on-one battle that you started doing that you won and you started getting recognized for? Because you took Red Bull, right? Was that your first one-on-one that was big, or was there one prior to that?
No. You know what it was? It was in 2003. It was in IBE 7 to Smoke 2003. When I won that event, I felt that that's when I started getting recognized as a soloist internationally. Because I guess some people knew me in the U.S., you know what I'm saying? But then that's when my name started, I guess, getting bigger. And it wasn't until I battled Benji at the end of 2003. So I would say mine and Benji's battle is what kind of gave me some recognition as a solo B-boy.
Dope. All right. Prior to how did you get recognized to go to IBE? What was it that made you get a call from IBE to come out?
Damn, you know what? I don't even know. You know, it probably was a lot of because I'm trying to remember the timeline. Shit, I don't even know how. They probably saw some footage of me from True to the Game, because True to the Game was Vegas versus the Bay Area.
Okay.
And at that time, I was, you know, I guess you would say the team captain of the Vegas team. So I put together the Vegas team. So I put together some of the guys from House of Reps, from Knucklehead Zoo, from Full Force. And I remember when we got there, the Bay Area squad was like, you know, Natron, Rock's Right. Who are the other guys that are in it? So, have you seen this battle?
No.
I
must have seen that.
Okay, well, I think that was probably the video because and Mighty Four. I entered Mighty Four with Marlon in 2002.
A 2-on-2?
A 2-on-2. Me Marlon,
fresh.
yeah.
That is fresh.
It was completely random. And I also did Rocksteady Anniversary in 2001.
All right, so you're making some noise.
But I wasn't, though, because I always felt like I did whack in all these battles. So in 2001, it was just a spontaneous trip that I took with Mike Murda, Fonzie, some of the guys from Knuckleheads, and we went to Rocksteady Anniversary just to vibe out and just to chill. And there was already an invited list of one-on-ones, you know?
Right.
And someone couldn't make it. So Flow Rock at that time was in Rocksteady, so he's like, yo, someone dropped out. Do you want to enter this battle? And I've never done a one-on-one. And I was nervous. So I did it, and I battled Boo Rock from Ground Zero the first round.
That must have been a dope battle.
It wasn't, because I thought I did really whack. I don't even think I've ever seen that battle, actually. So I lost him the first round, and that was in 2001. So I would say that was my first real one-on-one. And then in 2002, I did an exhibition battle in Virginia against Noob Cybot from Lines of Zion.
Okay.
It was the most random battle because I didn't see our styles matching, and we went, I think, 8 or 9 rounds. And I was younger back then, like this is in 2002, and I guess I beat him, and maybe these footage got around. I don't know.
Okay, that's weird. Okay.
Yeah, and then 2003 is when I got invited to IB.
Dope. So you go to IB, you do the 7 to Smoke. That's when you realize, yo, I could potentially do one-on-ones.
Yeah, I think it was in 2002. It was in 2002. And this is why. So in 2002, during summer of 2002, myself, Ben, Mike Murda, Fonzie, and there's one more person that went with us.
When did Ben come into play?
Yo, Ben was traveling before I was.
Okay.
Ben was already representing like Team USA because he was at IBE in 2002, I believe. So he was already traveling internationally. He was doing it before I was. So if anything, maybe I got put on because Dunock and Ben were already traveling and doing some international battles prior to me. But we were already Super Crew because we were already representing Super Crew in 2000.
Okay, rewind. So you're full force up until 2000 and create. How did Super
Oh
Crew
yeah,
come
damn.
about?
So there's so much history here. All right, okay. Rewind. Full Force started in 95.
Right.
Knucklehead Zoo started in 97, 98, I believe.
So why did Knucklehead Zoo start? Is it a part of Full Force?
No, Knucklehead Zoo. So some of our Full Force members went to high school with some of the Knucklehead Zoo members.
Okay.
And Knucklehead Zoo, they've always been breaking, but they started a crew because, like Full Force, I think some of the original Knucklehead Zoo guys were from Cali. And then one of the members from Knuckleheads moved to Vegas. And that's their history. I don't know the full extent of their story, but it's similar to Full Force. So they started a few years after us. And then we went to B-Boy Summit, and that's when we bumped into Battle Monkeys, and we battled them.
So was Ben part of
Knuckleheads? Yeah, in Vegas.
All right, so
yeah.
you met him prior to Dunock and...
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is like the Vegas. So when you think about like the Vegas history, it was Rock Skittle before Full Force. Full Force started in 95, and then shortly after... Knucklehead Zoo started like in 97, 98.
On their own tip. It wasn't a part of your guys?
It wasn't a part, yeah.
But
we were homies.
Like the same...
Oh, but we were homies, though.
Okay.
We used to practice together. So I always say 9th Street because a lot of people know this house on 9th Street. It's pretty iconic to our Vegas scene for all the people that used to come over. Like I said, like Rock Skittle and Ivan and Full Force and Knucklehead Zoo, they knew this house. This is our Full Force headquarters. So Knucklehead Zoo used to always practice at our house, and we would, vibe with them, and there would be park jams that we would go to. So we always had a great chemistry with Knucklehead Zoo. So when we ended up going to California, we were representing Vegas. It was Full Force and Knucklehead Zoo representing Vegas.
Okay.
And then we bumped into like Dunock, Vex, Rockadell, and all them, and we ended up battling them and their crew.
Okay.
And that's when we kind of got along. And then we decided to collaborate and create a crew called Super Crew in 2000. Yeah,
okay.
Super Crew started in 2000 because we were never really winning any of the big events. Anytime we would enter a freestyle session or B-Boy Summit, we wouldn't even qualify. The only crew that would qualify was Battle Monkeys. And there was one year where they actually made it to the semifinals. And so they were the crew that actually made it further than Knuckleheads and Full Force. So it was a little frustrating because, like I said, we always liked to battle, but we were never winning,
Yeah.
So Super Crew was that crew that got together just to kind of make noise outside of the competition world. So we would go to freestyle sessions or go to all these jams and just call everyone out. So whatever we were doing back in the mid-90s with Knucklehead Zoo, Battle Monkeys were already doing the same thing too. So that's why we kind of saw eye to eye. We're like, let's just call everyone out.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how Super Crew started.
I remember when you guys started rolling up to events at Super Crew.
Yeah. We call everyone out,
that
man.
was fresh.
I remember we called out. We even have stories because Twix lives out here now too, and he was part of that when they were ciphering, and Super Crew would just bum rush a cipher and just start calling out all the famous b-boys, Caveman, Twix. I remember we walked into like a Circle of Fire circle and called out some of their guys too, but it was all love. You know what I mean? That's just how we were back in the early 2000s, just trying to gain a name for ourselves.
Yeah, you guys start Super Crew. You guys are making noise together, band. I'm doing everybody's together now. 2002 comes around, you go to IBE.
Yeah, 2003.
You go to IBE.
Yeah.
Do the 7 of Smoke. You win the 7 of Smoke, right?
I won the 7 of Smoke in 2003. Yeah,
and that's when your career takes another level up.
Yeah, I felt like every year it started more and more. Because even in 2003, we were already battling at Super Crew. We did the special edition, myself, Ben, and Dunock. So we were the 3 representatives of Super Crew. Ben from Knucklehead Zoo, Dunock from Battle Monkeys, and I got something here?
No, that's just me.
Oh, and myself from Full Force. So we were like the holy trinity of Super Crew. Us 3. We were always repping. If there was a 3-on-3, we would be the 3 that would represent Super Crew.
Oh, that's dope. Voltron.
But like I said, those guys were the ones that were traveling overseas and repping, Dunock and Ben. And in 2003 was when the first international event I did was IBE. And then a couple months after that, I went to Japan for a freestyle session with Super Crew. So yeah, 2003 was the year that I felt that I started doing major events, like recognizable events that were on DVDs where you get to see your name. It's like, shit, I made it.
Yeah. All right, so it was IBE. What was the second one?
I would. Okay, so it was IBE. If we're talking
International, when you like level up.
IB and then freestyle session 2003, and that's when they
Japan.
brought everyone there, bro.
That's classic.
Classic.
That's
if you ever
classic.
seen Japan Diary, then you already know. K-Mel was there, Rudy Goblin, Flea was there, Lego was
Flea
there.
was there too.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then on the West Coast side, it was me, Primate, Energetic. He battled with us too. Omar was there, Dizzy was there, of course Ben and Dunok were there. And dude, yeah, there was a whole bunch of us, dude. There was over 20 of us that flew into Japan from the U.S. and Canada.
Oh shit, dope, man. When did you start? When you Rebel BC won? Obviously, you won it.
Yeah.
Well, what was the year that you won that?
I won it in 2007.
In 2007,
but I competed the first time in 2004, 4, 5, 6. 7,
you entered in 2004.
The first year I entered in 2004.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got invited to that. See, so when I started getting invited to these events, I never felt like I was ready. You know, I was like, dude, am I really going to compete right now in the one-on-one? All right. So I just had to shift my mentality, you know? So I started training harder for one-on-ones.
Dope. What was your training process like during that time? Was it an everyday thing? Were like, how was it? What were you doing?
Yeah, it was. But there was no specific regimen because, we lived in Vegas. At that time, I was already out of my parents' house. I was already living with the homies. And practicing every day, going out, chilling. So it was just a part of my lifestyle. It wasn't like I need to practice from this time to this time. I need to eat healthy. You know, like I was still a little younger. So I was in my early 20s. So I would just practice every day. And in 2004, I was already traveling a lot.
Dope. Did you ever have a regular job?
Yes, I did.
Where did you work at?
My first official job was at this water resort called Wet n Wild.
Okay.
And I was just working in the arcade. I also used to bag groceries at Smith's grocery store. I was a courtesy clerk.
Courtesy clerk, not a bagger.
Yeah, that's the political correct way of calling a bagger. Or a cart move around. I'm freaking out. What else? I used to sell phones for Sprint.
Oh,
yeah, I had some real jobs, man.
Did you get fired from any of them?
Yeah, I think half of them I got fired from.
Wait, did you get fired from Wet n Wild?
No.
Okay.
Wet n Wild was a seasonal job. It was a summer job.
Okay, which one did you get fired from?
From Sprint, from selling phones. Yeah.
What would you do?
I just didn't show up one time, and they called me. You had an hour lunch break, and I didn't come back for like 3 hours because no one was monitoring. So I took advantage, and that's what it is. That was my fault. I was younger. I was also a Midway attendant, which is also like an arcade attendant at Treasure Island.
Oh, okay.
Right in front of the Mystere. You know what I'm talking about? The Mystere Cirque du Soleil show. In front of it is now a bar, but before that was a bar. It used to be an arcade.
Oh, fresh.
So this was in high school. This is back in high school. I was a beauty advisor at a salon.
Oh, chill.
And all this is when I was still in high school and my early college years. So when I started traveling, that's when I was like, I just want to focus on dance, man. And that's why I got fired, because I never took a 9-to-5 serious.
You're done with IBE 2003.
Yeah.
You started competing up until Rebel in 2007.
Yeah, 4 years.
What happened between that and that? Anything significant, or was it just you just killing it, traveling, building a name?
That's exactly what it was. So for 4 years, I was traveling so much that when BC1 season would come around the corner, it felt like just another battle because we were battling so much. I was doing 2-on-2s, crew-on-crews, exhibition battles. I won a couple with Machine, surprisingly. That was like an odd, because we were also part of the B-Boy World team. Myself, Speedy, Omar, Ben, Machine. Who else? Did I say Speedy already? So we were traveling a lot. We went to Tahiti together. We battled in Spain together. And they ended up asking me and Machine, you were there. That was in 2005.
The
That's when we first met. Yeah.
You were battling with Machine.
Yeah, exactly. So we won that battle, and we also entered another battle in Okinawa.
Okay.
I feel like it was either that same year or the following year, and we won the 2-on-2 then as well. So I was traveling around that time, like I said, between 2004 and 2007, right? So when BC1 would come around, it just felt like, okay, I need to train for BC1 now. So it was like BC1 season,
Who was your favorite person to do a 2-on-2 with?
2-on-2, probably Ben. Me and Ben had great chemistry, and he lived here in Vegas, so You know, we won a few 2-on-2s together as well.
Which is the worst 2-on-2 partner that you've had so far?
Who is the worst two? I don't know.
Not to say that they're the worst, but it's just it didn't work out.
Shit. I wouldn't say. Okay, so not 2-on-2, but I know a crew that we collaborated with the first time was Battleborn at Freestyle Session, and I felt that the chemistry there because we literally jumped into it. We tried to create routines together, and that chemistry wasn't there. So I feel like you need to take time with someone, you know. And I would say that was the crew that we didn't vibe with at first. But now we're obviously like, you know, like really close, you know, 10 years later. Yeah. But as far as one-on-ones, individual 2-on-2s, there's no one that I would say that was the worst because I can't really think of anyone. I mean, if it's anyone, it's probably Machine.
Did you win the battles with Machine?
I won the battles with Machine, but every time we would hang because we're both Libras, you know what I'm saying? Which is weird because we get along, but we have an opposite dynamic because he's so loud. Yeah. So there is times where when we battle, it's dope. The chemistry is dope. But I felt like sometimes when we're in Asia and just like culturally, sometimes we'll be eating out and he'll be so loud, you know? You know, Machine is Machine. And I'm like, yo, Machine, chill, man. You know, like people are looking at us right now. But not the worst, but I would say just the chemistry is good, but he was just like a fun, different person to be around.
All right, so you start getting ready for 2007, Rebels coming around. Did you get hit up as an invitation, or did you knew prior that you were going to practice for this?
So back then, the format was different. So if you made the top 3, you would always get invited back. Now you have to win it in order to get invited back the following year. So when I first entered in 2004, I got second place, which already guaranteed me a spot for the next year. 2005.
Oh, that's your first one.
Yeah.
2004 was the first Red Bull.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in 2005, I got third place.
Ooh.
So I barely made the mark. I was like, oh, shoot. Okay, so
for 2006.
Exactly.
Okay.
So 2006 hits, and I get second place.
Oh, shit.
So oh, shit, I get invited back to 2007, and that's when I finally won it.
Did you feel like the first 3 helped you win the fourth one?
Yeah. Even the fourth one was still hard. The craziest thing is I felt like I trained the hardest for 2007, and I physically felt ready. But traveling to Johannesburg, South Africa, I wasn't physically ready just for because the elevation was so high. It was so hard to breathe. And the venue where they had it was just tough. You know, physically it was tough. And I felt that there was always an obstacle every year that we did BC1 back then. In 2006, when it was me and Hong in the final, they almost canceled the whole battle because there was like a tsunami. So it was underneath the tent. And if you watch any of the BTS, if there is any, it was leaking. Whoa. So there was battles that happened where people were slipping. When I had to battle B-Boy The End from Korea, he had to choose like a certain part of the stage because there was a puddle, you know?
Oh, that
it was
sucks.
crazy, yeah.
Sucks.
But we got through it. We got, you know, we got through the whole competition, and I'm glad we did it, you know? We stuck it out, you know?
And you ended up winning.
No, that was in 2006.
Okay, that was a year prior.
That was a year prior. And then in 2007, the year that I won,
2006 was in South Africa.
No, 2006 was in Sao Paulo, Brazil. 2007 was in South Africa. Yeah,
that's the one. You won.
So what I'm saying is every year there was always like an obstacle. There was always something that was challenging outside of just breaking. So in 2007, the following year, it was the elevation was so it was hard for everyone to breathe. They had like an oxygen tank backstage for people, you know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because the air was so thin. So, you know, stamina-wise, it definitely took a toll. There was some B-boys that were, like, throwing up because, you know. But it was dope, though. Overall, I felt like that was, like, my favorite BC one. Not just because I won, but just, like, the vibe and the energy. And it was in Africa, you know. It was dope.
That's fresh. Has there ever been a battle that you won that you told yourself, yo, I should have lost that one?
Always.
Yeah.
I feel like I lose all my battles. I'm like, how the hell did I win that? And vice versa, right? You lose the battle, it's like, dude, I definitely won that. How did I lose? Yeah. So
how did winning Red Bull change your mind?
Well, shortly after, because I won, I got invited to the following year again. But months after I won BC1, we ended up doing America's Best Dance Crew.
Okay.
And that was a game changer because I felt that with Super Crew, we never won any major breaking events. But we ended up winning a big ass TV show,
That's
know.
Crazy.
And after we won that TV show, it just took off. We ended up going on tour for like a couple years. And during that tour, I had to go to BC1. So wow. I think at that time I wasn't physically or mentally ready, and I lost the first round against Kolobuk from Ukraine. And then after that BC1, we were just so busy with Super Crew,
How did the TV show come about? Who brought up the idea first, and how did you guys hear about it, and how did you guys even execute that?
Oh damn! All right, so Super Crew, we auditioned for the first season of America's Best Dance Crew, and we didn't make it. and everyone was there. Like the first 3 season winners were there. Jabberwockies audition, Super Crew audition, Quest Crew audition.
Wait, for the first one?
For the first season of America's Best Dance Crew, we were all in the same room auditioning.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
But the only crew that made it from us 3 was Jabberwockies, and they ended up winning first season. And if you didn't know, some of the members of Jabberwockies are also part of Full Force. At that time, Chris Stiles and Rainin, they were part of Full Force. So, they encouraged us to enter season 2.
Right. Okay.
So, we had to get the squad together. We entered season 2, which was a long season because I felt that season 1 went by so quick because I think they had 8 episodes or something like that. And season 2, when Super Crew did it, we had more than 10 episodes, which means more work.
More work, yeah.
Yeah, every week. And it's like, and every week it gets harder and harder. So we were there for over 2 months, and it was worth it because we ended up winning.
Okay.
And
what year was this?
This is 2008. This
2008.
is less than a year after I won, or maybe about a year after I won BC1 in Africa. Yeah. So it was like back to back.
That must have been fresh.
Yeah, man. Winning BC1 and then winning ABDC. But there's a lot in my life that happened around that time outside of the success of dance. Right. A lot of, trials and tribulations too,
Yeah.
So I felt that this was like a win, just for the crew, and even for the spirit, and also for the breaking culture. I felt like it was a win for us because when we won that, it put breaking on the map. It made it credible. It made people want to break. Because I remember after we won, even some of our crew members from Vegas that rep Full Force at Knucklehead Zoo, we were able to bring him in, because there was so much work. And yeah, dude, that was a very special time for us, for sure.
Dope. Is that when you started? You guys started, maybe not curating, but being involved in the community as far as teaching kids.
I was already teaching traveling prior to that.
Okay.
But after we won, it definitely gave us a voice. And when we won in 2008, we were really busy. We were traveling. We were doing a lot of things. But it was more commercial stuff. It wasn't anything with the community. It wasn't until we started doing more stuff at home and when we opened up District Arts is when we started doing more community stuff, yeah. But that was a couple years after,
Dope. When do you do workshops?
Yeah, I do, yeah,
okay,
for sure.
When did you start doing workshops?
Well, the first time I ever taught was in 2002 because I used to dance with a choreography group called Culture Shock.
Culture Shock, I remember.
Yeah, you were Culture Shock. Yeah, so Culture Shock. They had different chapters all over the U.S. They had one in San Diego, L.A., and Vegas. And at that time, Napoleon and Tabitha, they're 2 famous choreographer directors. They used to help out with Culture Shock Las Vegas too. So the year that I was doing it, they're the ones choreographing all the numbers. And I remember they asked me to choreograph a breaking number, and that was the first time I ever taught, And it was just a breaking choreography piece. So that was the first time I actually, taught kids. And soon after that, anytime I would travel, I would, they would ask me to teach classes, and I would, yeah. So when I went to China once, or when I went to Hong Kong, I think that was one of the first times I taught internationally, and that was later in 2002 as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
Do you have a specific way of teaching or an approach?
Not necessarily an approach, but I do, because every instructor has their formula, right? Every instructor has their way of teaching. When I teach, I just try to teach obviously the fundamentals and the foundation of breaking, but also how to be creative, like the mentality behind creativity, where it's not just about the specific move that you're learning, but how you could make that specific move your own and how you could flip it and make it original. So that's kind of like the base of how I teach. Yeah.
Dope. And how about workshops that you've taken? Have you taken any workshops?
breaking workshops,
Yeah.
no, but I've taught. I mean, I've learned choreo with Super Crew. Obviously, we kind of help each other, and we've learned each other's moves because anytime we would create choreography, we're learning each other's moves. So, but as far as taking a breaking workshop, no, I can't say I've ever taken one. I mean, Ivan, that's not a workshop, but he was teaching us some of his choreography when he did that show with us in '96. So yeah, I'm still learning. I'm absorbing, but I'm not sitting there like teach me.
Right.
But
How
I
are
do.
you with counts? Like with, people do counts and routines. Are you good with that?
Yeah. I felt like I definitely learned a lot being in Culture Shock. And obviously, Super Crew, we were doing a lot of stuff with Jabberwockies, so we learned a lot from Jabberwockies.
Was that something that came natural to you? You just had to work on it a lot?
No, as a B-boy, I felt that learning choreography, it's a different. And when we did a TV show, too, we had to learn a lot of, because we had to do group numbers. And we're B-boys, we're usually a specialty act, especially like in Hollywood. When they hire a B-boy, they usually don't use the B-boy to do choreo. They just go out there and blow it up, right?
Right.
But then we learned through the years how to count to music and how to create too. That's why with Super Crew, we're able to create a whole, theater piece just because we've been doing choreography for so long now.
When it comes to full force, how do you guys grow the crew? Because I know that you guys have younger members coming in and younger guys representing. How do you guys grow the crew?
Chemistry, man. And also because we are family oriented, our logo is a tree. So as you know, with trees, it just represents, the roots, and it's everlasting. It's always growing. And I've always felt that kind of represented our crew, because there's members of our crew that have kids now, and now their kids are breaking. So one specific member, Mark Morales, he has 2 sons, and they're 13 and 14 now. And they enter some of the kids' battles in Vegas, and they've been winning a lot of them recently. So that's what it is. It's just we're very family oriented, We keep it tight. And a lot of the people that do end up getting in our crew have an affiliation with either a crew member or they've been part of our family for a while. One of our recent members that we recruited is Eddie Stiles from San Diego. And we've known him for over 20 years. And he's not even a young member. He's just a new member, but he's been part of the Full Force family for 20 plus years.
How did you guys meet Eddie Stiles?
Culture Shock days.
Okay.
At least for me, because when I started in Culture Shock in 2002, Chris Stiles and Rainin were in Culture Shock San Diego. So I would commute back and forth from Vegas to San Diego, because I would go to San Diego just to hang out with the guys. And then when I ended up getting down with Culture Shock Las Vegas, they had a Culture Shock event where it was all the Culture Shock crews from different cities come together and they perform. So I met Eddie because he was part of Culture Shock San Diego.
Is that
and
when
Rock
you
So
met Chris
Fresh.
Stiles and Raiden as well?
Yeah, and then that's when they were all in San Diego repping with Culture Shock, and then that's around the same time when they started Jabberwockies together. And
When did they all move out to Vegas?
they all moved out to, well, Chris was already from Vegas and he moved to San Diego.
Oh, I
Because
see.
Chris was part of Full Force, and then he moved out to San Diego for college. But majority of the guys from California moved out here when the Jabberwocky show started in 2010, so 11 years ago.
Talk to me about the time that you guys got to perform on the casinos.
Super Crew and Jabberwockies, we went on tour right after we got out of the TV show, because our seasons were back to back. Jabba won earlier that spring, and then we won that same summer in 2008. We literally had like a few weeks of a break, and then we had to go straight into rehearsal, went on tour for a few months. After the tour happened with Jabberwockies, we always talked about somehow collaborating and working together, because the chemistry was there. We were vibing. We were already crew. We already knew each other for so many years. And in 2010, Jabberwockies got asked to do a show at the MGM. And then that's when they invited Super Crew to be a part of it. So in 2010 was when we started with them. And yeah, some of the guys are, Ben's still in the show, RJ's still in the show. I'm taking the break right now. But the chemistry with Super Crew and Jabberwockies, man, we got to do so much together. We got to tour with Jabberwockies in the Philippines. We got to do Red Bull BC1 in 2012 in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And till this day, we all still hang out. We're all still good friends. The fact that I'm making a living off of dance is an amazing thing. And the fact that I have a family and I'm still able to do this is the biggest blessing for me,
Yeah.
So this actually helps me to push myself even harder having a family, because I know that I have a reason for it now.
Yo, you've had District open for a long time, bro. What keeps you keeping it open? Because,
Yeah.
anybody could just close some shit down, especially during the COVID thing last year. A lot of people just decided to leave their businesses behind, what keeps you inspired to keep that place open?
My family, like I said, you know, it's what I realized about, I guess, my personality growing up is well, when I commit to something, like I'm in deep, you know, like I'm a very dedicated person. So and loyalty too. So that's why all the crews that I'm talking about, all the people that I've been talking about are still in my circle, you know. And I opened up District Arts 9 years ago with not just myself, but with my crew members. And it wasn't even my idea. It was my crew members' idea to do it. But I was like, yo, if we're going to do this, let's do this together, right? And these are things that we were even talking about back in high school days, you know. So we definitely manifested everything that's happening today 2 decades ago when we started Full Force in 95 or back when we were high school. It was just, you know, when you would sit around and just talk shit like, oh, you know, we're going to do this together. We're going to do that together. So majority of the things we talked about growing up, we did. So for me, it's more about not even like making money off of the studio, because anyone that owns a dance studio knows that it's not really a lucrative business. For me, it's more of a passion project. So I opened it up because I felt that this studio is our home. It's our second home. It's our Full Force home. So that's the reason why I kept it open. And a lot of people may not know the backstory or what happens in the back end, but yeah, it is hard to maintain. But we're here because I feel that we get the support from our family, from the dance community, from our friends. From all these years that we've been, you know, keeping this studio open, we've had the same people that are still believing in the cause. And I think that's why we're still open, you know, because of the intentions behind it.
2020, last year, COVID hits, everything shuts down. How did that affect your psyche?
Man, just staying optimistic, staying positive the whole time, you know, knowing that, you know, I have my family's back, or they have my back. And, you know, I had my 4-month-old was born in December. So
oh, wow.
She was a quarantine baby.
Yeah.
You know, so pretty much during 2020, my wife was pregnant, and luckily we were still able to do projects, like online projects. So okay. I felt that during that time I was just trying to stay positive and stay creative, and that's exactly what I did. And in the blink of an eye, you know, like the whole year went by, and now I have a second daughter. And yeah, a coronial is what you call them. Yeah. All the babies that are coming, a coronial.
Was it stressful? Because it almost seems like people either are stressed out or people just got through it in a good way, not in a good way, but in the best way that they could.
I'll be honest, man. I thought that we got through it in a good way because of my family's support. And I'm not even talking about just my immediate family, my wife and my kids and my mother-in-law, but even my siblings, you know, like my brother and my sister. We were able to, this is the most time I spend with my family. Normally I'm always traveling and I'm always missing home, or FaceTime my family, or missing a birthday, or missing, you know, like these special moments. But for a whole year, I didn't miss nothing. I was there for everyone's birthdays. We were able to travel to the cabin with my family. It was beautiful, man. And
That's dope.
I was able to take my family to Mexico.
That's dope.
We got to go to Hawaii during the lockdown, but obviously we did it very responsibly. You know, like we would get tested before, and we were staying very vigilant even during the hard times during the lockdown. But I would say that we were blessed during the quarantine to still at least stay afloat. And even with our studio, there was a point where we didn't even know if we keep the studio open, you know, and yeah, it was just a blessing. Just stay positive.
And now that this shit is over, are you excited for 2021, 2022, 2023?
Yeah, dude, I'm excited for every year, every day, fresh. every minute, man.
What do you think about the breakin Olympics?
I support it. I support the Olympics.
Yeah, me too. I support it 100%.
Yeah, of course, 100%. Man. I mean, honestly, there's nothing bad about the Olympics, because it's no different than like when Battle of the Year came about, or when BC1 came about. Everyone looked at these events like they were so mainstream, right? But at the same time, when these events were happening,
it's Cricket.
What's up, Cricket? Oh, hey. Yeah, no, but at the same time, when all these big mainstream events were happening, you still had the underground events, right? So all these events could still coexist, even while the Olympics is happening.
I really appreciate you for coming over, man.
Yeah, dude, thanks for having me.
This was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, taking the trip down memory lane. I know we were bouncing back and forth, but it's refreshing just kind of going back.
Yeah.
You know,
Once we got to like 2003 and 4, we started jumping.
Because it starts mashing up. Because, we even have history, bro. The first time I met you was in 2005, right?
Yeah.
And that was the first time I met you, El Nino, and Casper. And I was there
that was
with
fun.
Machine.
That was a fun trip.
Yeah. So I have a lot of those memories just. And a lot of it is documented too, man. Anytime I talk about Freestyle Session Japan, I'm like, dude, just cop the Japan Diary from who edited that? Jiven Ivan. I think that was his video that he came out with. But
you remember Billy Bell?
Yeah, Billy Bell. He used to do all the freestyle sessions, right?
Do you know if he's still around? Man, I was thinking about that. I'm like, Billy Bell was the freshest editor, like for breaking footage.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Fresh, man. Where can the people find you?
Instagram, I guess. Ronnie_FF.
That's right. It's going to be down there below, guys. If you guys like the content, please like and subscribe. I want to appreciate you for spending the time with us, man, down to history.
Yeah,
I'm happy for you, your family.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Your career is, I would love to see it evolve even further.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Thanks, man.
We'll have
Thank
you back.
Smurf. Much love to you, brother. Same
Peace,
generation.
y'all.